tonight, our guest has a track record of harnessing the power of compelling storytelling, innovative digital strategies, and also targeted messaging. Listen to him and you know how he connects with people. Well, now he tells me he's connecting with voters. He gets to inspire action and gets to amplify Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's vision for a brighter future. With a keen understanding of the political landscape and a commitment to transparency and authenticity, he's poised to elevate the campaign's reach and impact. He tells me, Bola, I want to ensure that Dr. Bawumia's message resonates with every Ghanaian in every corner of the nation. He was born some 39 years ago, precisely on February 27, 1985. Raised in Latte, Akuapem, in the eastern region of Ghana, and is the only child of his parents. He started his basic education at Latte Presby Primary School and later proceeded to Swedro International School, Swiss, where he completed his basic education and then attended Okuapeman Secondary School. For tertiary education, he first bagged a BA in political science from the University of Ghana and then took a swing at marketing with chartered postgraduate diploma as a marketer from the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK, and then became a chartered marketer. Moved on to pursue an MBA in marketing from the Central University as a cherry on top. Well, he's been working in the sales and marketing industry for over a decade. And he tells me he has knowledge of fast-moving consumer goods and the financial services. He's also worked in the pension industry where he started off as a client relations executive, a one-time Eastern Regional Director of the Youth Enterprise and Skills Development Center, YESDEC, a World Bank funded project promoting job creation. Our guest is also a former municipal chief executive for Akuapem North. Let's get down to politics. He became a leading communicator for the Nana Akufo-Addo-led government and party, the New Patriotic Party. This was after he has grown in the ranks of service as a special aide to the Member of Parliament for Ikropon, Honorable William Ofori Boafo, between 2007 and 2013. A decade later, he's appointed as spokesperson for the Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia during the 2023 presidential primaries for the New Patriotic Party. Currently, he's serving as a presidential staffer with additional responsibilities as Executive Secretary for the Inter-Ministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, chaired by the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And he has the mandate of driving policy formulation and coordination. So, he's a big man in our studios tonight. The man who turns 40 next year. That's February 27, 2025. Our guest will be 40 years.
A short man is not a small boy.
Dennis Miracles Aboagye, Communications Director for the Dr. Bawumia campaign. That's the 2024 campaign. You're welcome.
Thank you, Bola.
Onto the award-winning
It's an honor.
personality show.
It's a big honor. Big honor.
I'm humbled, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for accepting our invitation to
and
be
you
here.
have so much about me that I don't even know.
You know what?
What
We have to do our research. I told you, we have a solid team led by the one and only, the indefatigable Francis Aban. So you know we will dig.
Now I get issues now.
You get issues, eh? Don't worry, we'll deal with that. So Star Chat is right here, proudly brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, Coa mixture for your general well-being. Haptel is everything you. Also, we welcome Top Choco onto this great platform, and Bill's Quick Microcredit, financing your needs. A big thank you to GCB Bank, your bank for life. So once again, thanks for joining us, Dennis Miracles Aboagye. Is Miracles your real name? Tell us today exclusively on Star Chats.
So I guess it is now. But I didn't start off with Miracles. I mean, I got Miracles. My mother started calling me Miracles somewhere when I was in about secondary school, Kwapama school, I think second year.
Oh, so officially Miracles is your name?
I mean, now it is.
Now
Because
it is.
I didn't have a choice. So you go to a point, you sort of Google my name and you don't find me. Unless you add the Miracles.
Oh, wow.
You know, so even now, if you don't add the Miracles, it's difficult.
It's difficult to find Dennis Aboagye or Dennis
it's
Edward Aboagye.
Very, very difficult to find Dennis Aboagye or
Aboagye.
Dennis. Yeah. So now it's official.
Why that? Why Miracles? Tell us for the first time right here on Star Chat.
So I don't know how she came about it, honestly. But
You've never asked?
I have asked a couple of times, but even she herself, I mean, she's unable to really pinpoint. So she just found herself calling me Miracles.
Wow.
And that was all. And it's a miracle with the S. You know, so and I think names have impact.
That is unique.
Yeah.
Names indeed
Names
have
have impact. Names do have impact.
You believe that you're a miracle baby.
It's been miracles after miracles after miracles, and plenty of miracles they come. So I love it, and it's a name that I love. I think it's really had a lot of impact.
Fantastic. And you're most welcome to Star FM, to Star Chat. We are live in Kumasi on Ultimate FM, so people are listening to you in Takrade. We're live on Empire FM and around the world on starfm.com.gh. So Miracles, I mean, you have a strong following. When we had that production meeting, your name came up and people like, oh, when are you bringing Miracles?
People like controversy.
They like controversy.
People like controversy.
Are you controversial?
I'm not, but people like it.
People like it.
They
Your
like,
side of being controversial.
People just love controversy. People just love. So that's all.
But you have a strong following as the MPP flag bearers campaign spokesperson. Do you know why you were picked to lead communications for the 2024 presidential campaign? Miracles. What did Dr. Bawumia tell you and the team?
Well, I don't know why I was picked, but what he told me really gives me an indication. And I remember very well, I was surprised myself because it's not something I was expecting.
You weren't looking forward to it?
Not at all. Not at all. For me, I wake up in the morning, I just do what I have to do. You know, so you wake up, you just ask yourself what is there to be done, and then you do it. I'm part of an organization or a group that is seeking to improve the lives of the people and cause change in the lives of the people. So I wake up in the morning, and mine is to push the objects of my party. And so I think Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has the eye for talent. He's a problem solver, and for me, if I hear him correctly, he wants results. He says, Dennis, we are going into these elections.
Wow.
I need you to lead communication, and I believe you can do it because of what you have been doing.
Right.
I think you are in sync with me, and you are in sync with the way I think, and your mission is simply get our message to the people. Let the Ghanaian people have a reason to vote. And that's the last thing he told me.
Let the Ghanaian
people have a reason to vote.
For somebody who's under 40, young as you are, but of course very brilliant, very sharp, with this message coming to you from the vice president who wants to be the president of Ghana, that day, walk us through.
No fears, Bola, no fears. You see, anything you put your mind to,
it's possible.
Everything is possible. So I mean, I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried. I have never been worried about these things. Once it comes, you go sleep, wake up in the morning, you plot, and you do it. And I'm very sure it will be done.
It will be done.
I believe we have enormous human resource within our political party to work together and deliver December 7th. We will make Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia president.
You're saying here and now, today, the 16th of May, 2024, that come the 7th of January 2025,
he will be president. I mean, I've seen.
Dr. Bawumia will be sworn in as a president.
Bola, I have seen, I've heard, we've engaged people. We know what the young people of this country are looking for. We know the aspirations of the young people of this country. And I tell you, put all the propaganda aside. You know, when the noise is out there really loud, and you really want to understand what's going on, be silent. Listen through the noise, and you hear what the people are saying. And I can tell you that the millions of young people on the streets of this country are poised to see Ghana become any other country that they would want to go
People are saying that you're struggling. That is why you're not communicating your message. And you say, well, we are silent because we are working. What do you say to such people?
We are not silent. And I can tell you that anybody that says we are silent is just tickling himself. There are 38,622 police stations in Ghana, Bola. 38,622 polling stations. This is where the votes are cast. And I tell you what, every single voter has a reason why they go to the polls to cast their vote. And so you don't go communicating wholesale. What I'll tell your staff here at Starr FM, it's not the same thing I'll tell the market woman in Adoso. And so you go to Adoso, we are there. You go to Nyamibeche, we are there. You come to Starr FM, we are there.
Is it a done deal?
It's not a done deal. It's hard work. And we are working. It's raining. And I can tell you, as it's raining, right now as I'm on air, go live on Facebook. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is addressing the young people of the North.
The Savannah region?
We are not, in the Northern region. He was in Savannah yesterday. We are not playing. We are not playing at all. It is not a done deal. It will be a done deal after he's been declared president. Maybe 8th or 9th December. And we are not going to rest. We are not going to sleep. Our job is to ensure that what happened in the year 2008 doesn't happen in 2024. The people of this country were very disappointed in the MPP by the time we got to 2010.
Really?
Yes, very, very disappointed.
In 2008?
They were
what happened? That
because in 2008, the people of Ghana were expecting the MPP to give them a very compelling reason why they should keep us in office to continue and complete.
You didn't have that reason?
We did not do enough. We did not do enough. We didn't do enough.
In 2008?
Yes, we didn't. And then ultimately what happened? We left the people in the hands of our opposition who were completely bereft of ideas. And so between 2009 to 2016, every single thing the MPP had achieved under President Kufuor was eroded.
Are you saying that you didn't work that hard in 2008?
Yes, and
that is a fact.
Oh yes, I mean you recall, in 2008 you recall, I mean a lot of people even after the elections continuously blamed us that we had a golden opportunity to really protect this country's legacies that we had built at that time. You see, anytime the MPP comes to power, what we do is that we go to the foundation of this the country's architecture. Be it economy, be it education, be it health, agriculture, every single thing that we work at, we go to the foundation. We are not superficial. We don't create a facade. We go to fix the basics to ensure that we have a certain strong foundation to leapfrog. But eventually what happens is that after years of hard work, unfortunately, and if you look at our political history, you'd realize that anytime the MPP is in power, we encounter circumstances that are beyond our control. So in 2008, President Kufuor, after all the things he had done, encountered the Wall Street issues, the global economic crunch, if you recall, where, America itself was in turmoil, and then we had a lot of crisis in 2008. In fact, it was in 2008 that we had shortage of water in Accra, where even in Laboni cantonment, the first-class neighborhoods were working with yellow gallons. You remember the Kufuor gallons, looking for water to fetch. And it was an election year. In that same election year, Bola, we had to queue for a whole day, sometimes 2 days, before you get a gallon of fuel to buy. I'm sure you've probably forgotten. And these things happened under President Kufuor. And this was a time when Ghana was
a bad omen every time.
Ghana was called a gateway. We were told that we were in the golden age of business. Those free compulsory universal basic education, the enrollment at the basic school had doubled. I mean, there were social intervention policies.
Miracles, that was then.
No, hold on.
Are banks coming to us now to come and
I'm making a point. Eventually, when we hit 2008, the Ghanaian people went through difficulties. The similar difficulties that we are going through now. And so all of a sudden, what happened? The opposition party chanced on these two challenges: fuel price increases, water shortages, and obviously, in Ghana, once you have a fuel price increase, it affects price of goods and services. And so all of a sudden, we forgot that basic education has been fixed. All of a sudden, we forgot that we had trade boom. All of a sudden, we forgot that we had a national health insurance that was providing primary health care for free for every Ghanaian. All of a sudden, we forgot that we had eradicated the statistics that was counting maternal mortality and infant mortality. That was a time where in this country we counted the number of children who die at birth and count the number of mothers who died at birth. And Kufuor had introduced free maternal care and he had eradicated it. So fast forward, we encountered a challenge in 2008. like we encountered in 2020.
COVID, Russian-Ukraine war.
Between 2017 and 2020 in this country. And you are in the entertainment space. 2019 was declared as one of the happiest time in the life of every Ghanaian.
Yes, year of return.
Exactly.
But what about the banking crisis and all of that? Because you were talking about, people being asked to come for loans. The banking sector was thriving. It was booming. But of course, we can't say
our
that.
banking sector had gone on a reset. In our first term, we had to reset the entire financial services. Bola, between 2014 and 2016, there were banks that you will go to and you cannot get your own money. You know that. I don't want to mention names. It was a fact. The fact of the matter was that banks were struggling. It was already a time bomb. There were banks in this country that you go today, you want to go and withdraw your money, they'll tell you the system is down.
Was that the best way to handle it?
Well,
if there was an
you
issue?
can discuss the best way, but the fact
I'm
is
asking you
already,
because you are on the seat. If you had that opportunity, would you have done it better?
Absolutely. Because today we have a much more robust financial sector, which is growing. Look at the financials of all the banks. Look at all of the banks. Today we have banks who.
So you think that it was done the right way?
We had to do it years ago. It was something we had to do 4 or 5 years before 2017. If we had done that earlier, we would have had. At the time we came to power in 2017, we had the reset done.
The way it was done.
How was it done?
I mean, the cleanup, banking cleanup.
How
They
was it
say that 9 million or 9 billion, and now we use over 20.
That's a complete. That is one of the most misrepresented facts ever.
Really?
That when you say that
how much was used to clean up?
How much was used doesn't mean that if you had a 12 billion, the banks will survive. How many banks were given 800 million cedis to survive and they squandered the money? Some of these banks that were collapsed were given 800 million cedis of our money. So it's not as if
the central bank.
Yes, it's not as if the country had not tried
to save
the banks. These banks were given money by the country on several occasions. Some of them were given once, they squandered it. They were given twice, they squandered it. They were given thrice, they squandered it. And you are saying that when we had the chance to fix it, we should still give them money. Does it add up? So the Ghanaian person listening to me today should know that it is never true that the country had a chance to save these banks and never did.
How much
the
was
country
used?
Actually attempted to save these banks, gave them money, and the owners of these banks and some of these managers squandered the money.
During your time or during the time
during the time of the NDC. So ask the NDC, when they said that you have 12 billion, you should have used to save the bank, ask them, the money that you gave to the banks to save them, what happened to these same banks? So it means that clearly, the facts establishes that even if we had given them 12 billion or 50 billion, the banks would have gone rogue. You know why? Because the challenges with these banks were just not money. It was poor governance. That is why you give money.
Corporate governance?
Yes, that is why you give the country's money to a bank, and then the owner of the bank will come and pick the money and take it to Zimbabwe to go and mine. That is why you give the money to the bank, then the owner of the bank will take the money to go and open a sachet water company. That is why the owner of the bank will come to the bank that you and I go and save and take the money to go and do whatever business. Do you know what was happening? Millions of Ghanaians were at risk of losing their money. And so the 12 billion was used to save millions of Ghanaians whose deposits were at risk.
So push to the wall. You would have done the same thing.
Well, I think it should have been done 6 years before we came to office. In fact, if we had done it 6 years before we came to office, we wouldn't have encountered the enormity of the challenge as we had seen it. For example, you gave 800 million to the bank, and the bank didn't survive. Right there and then, when you realize that the owner of the bank has squandered, don't wait 4 years. Fix it. And don't forget, these banks were not swept into the sea. They had been put together to ensure that you and our savings are still intact. That is why it is never true that some banks had been collapsed. The banks had been put together. They've been merged. And this is something that happens all over the world.
But some of these banks
together.
Are in core challenging it. So
that's fair.
Yes, that's fair. Fair and square. We'll leave that. Let's talk about, Dr. Bawumia being out there in the northern region or northern sector of the country. Tell us about the tour so far.
I think it's been really good. I mean, it's been a very, very, very engaging tour where we of the view that the Ghanaian people are giving us an indication that, listen, we are looking for the long-term sustainability of this country rather than the short-term challenges. And one of the things Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is telling the Ghanaian people, all the 9 regions we've gone to, is that leadership is not the absence of challenges. True leadership is the presence of courage in the midst of challenges to mobilize the people and get them out of it. So we are doing quite well in education. We are doing quite well in health. Agric is
Are you doing well or quite
we
well?
are doing much improved than we were. Of course, listen, Bola, in this country today, we can be compared to just about 4 countries in the world that can say that we have opened up access to education for its citizens. That's a big deal.
So yes, people will also argue and say that is quantity, but maybe over quality.
But the quality has already been tested and we've passed. It's been tested and we passed. Today,
So
in West Africa,
right.
Ghana remains a top country in performance in terms
In
of
education.
Yes. Listen, how do you measure training? You measure training through assessment and test. Is that not the case? The only way we can have objective way of measuring the performance of our education is through the test that we've been writing for years. Today, the statistics shows that these children are doing way better than they were doing 6-7 years ago.
So procuring past questions for them and all of that, you think is the best way to go?
You never use past questions to your exams.
I did, but government didn't pay for it.
Any student
No,
that
government didn't pay for it.
Exactly.
Is it okay for government to pay for it?
Yes. Do you know the difference that
Tell
is
us.
making now? The difference that is making now is that I had my mother struggling to get me the past questions. Others didn't get. So I had a head start. They failed. They struggled.
Oh, so that's why government moved.
Of course, government
to fair play, equity.
That is what government is there to do.
Oh.
You do not put impediments and barriers in the way of your citizens. Education is fundamental, it's basic. Education is the only platform that would ensure that all of us get the same level of start.
Fair and square.
Yes. So if before Bola and Miracles are in the same class, it's time for exams, and every teacher will tell you that once you are preparing for exams, you use past questions.
Correct.
Every teacher. Every teacher. You know why? Because that is the only way you can practice to be sure that whatever you've been taught, you know. So I can afford, I procure. You can't afford. You go into the exams, you struggle. I do well because I had all the resources. Now government realizes that, listen, we have hundreds of thousands of these people who cannot afford. What do? Let's intervene. And it's showing results. So really, if you want to measure whether government's intervention makes sense or not, look at the results. So we are unashamed about that because we can see the impact. Unashamed about that. Because Bola, our job as government is to create a level playing ground for the people. Otherwise, what is the sense? What is the point? Why did we introduce health insurance? It is to ensure that even though I can afford and Amamiefua's son cannot afford.
It's a social intervention.
Absolutely.
I just read that South Africa is actually taking, but that's something that we'll talk about. I saw the bus with Dr. Bawumia's branding, you know, on it. I saw it first. I think that at Piatti, you know, when it landed there. Does this mean that the campaign team are all aboard the bus, so no long convoys? Miracles.
So the campaign team, the core campaign team on a bus.
They're on the bus.
And we've done it before. It's not something that we're doing for the first time. During our primaries, we actually ran the entire campaign using the bus, except for places that the bus is unable to go to. For example, if you are descending from my hometown Latte to Ayukuma, there's a sharp curve. It's like there's like an elbow. And it's extremely difficult for a bus that size to really be able to meander that space. So if we get to a place like that, we sometimes park the bus and then we'll jump into SUVs, go and come back and come and join our bus. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's decision to use a bus is not for face looking. It was for a good cause. What the bus does for us is that it creates a lot of team bonding. It helps us to really engage even on the journey. So we move from one constituency to the next constituency. And in between the journeys, we've done our debriefing. We've already figured out what we did right, what we didn't do right. So really,
all in aboard the bus.
Of course, because you see, you are traveling a journey of about 45 minutes to 1 hour. If you are using a convoy and you're running a campaign, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's view is that it doesn't really help in getting things going on the beat. But on the bus, we are fixing things. We are fixing issues. You know, you have the operations guy on the bus. You have the guy mobilizing on the bus. We are making the calls. By the time we get to the next location, so if you are seeing our campaign to be well coordinated, organized, and thought through,
and
the bus is one of the reasons.
The bus is one of
Yes, because team bonding, the teamwork on the bus. Can you imagine having your flag bearer on your bus? Can you imagine having your flag bearer on your bus?
You will say that this retail campaign being done is working very well.
It is.
What inspired this strategy?
Our leader. That is who he is. That is who Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is. That is what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia represents. He, like I said earlier, he is an extraordinary thinker. He always wants to do something out of the box. The question Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is always asking you, if you go to him with an idea, is, has it been done before? what was the results when it was done? If that is the case, why don't we try this other way? He doesn't mind the outcome. His point is that once you're able to calibrate that what you are going to do has been done before, and you're not so sure if it gave you the kind of results you want, try the other option, and let's see how it would turn out. And so far, he has come up as one of the biggest problem solvers we've had in this country as a vice president.
One of the biggest?
Yes.
How so? What are you using to measure that?
Every single focal area that has been given to the vice president by the president, he has delivered.
He's the chairman of the economic management team.
Absolutely. As a chairman of the economic management team, he's been like that from 2017 to 2024.
True.
This country saw one of the biggest economic booms between 2017 and 2020. In 2020, every single global economy is struggling.
After 2020, many of them picked up.
No, tell me, mention.
I mean,
even UK.
I know UK, yes.
US. So mention, so give me. From the first class to the fourth class, all of us are trying to recover. So we are all recovering. The sneeze hits everybody.
Ivory Coast is doing well.
No, not true.
I mean, but if you look at the comparative, I mean,
how do you compare?
So I mean, they have actually gone ahead and they are doing a lot more.
How? What are you comparing with?
What are we
Ivory Coast.
Look in cocoa, they've even been.
So let me help you. So for example, so let me help you. For example,
they are leading.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
But Ivory Coast has always been leading us in cocoa.
Yes, but
Ivory Coast and Ghana.
Look at the margins, and I'll pull up.
Bola, you can pull up.
So
Ivory Coast and Ghana have always been the two leading countries in cocoa. And Ivory Coast have always been leading us.
True.
What we've been doing.
They've also went through COVID.
Yes.
But they've actually picked up. Look at their sporting activities. Look at what they did with Africa.
But haven't you seen what we did with the All African Games?
Fantastic.
So we have it. So I want to know.
I'm saying that the comparative analysis.
So I'll help you with some of the things they say.
Correct.
So for example, people will say that when you go to Ivory Coast, their inflation is about 3% or 6%.
Right.
Yours is 25%. Ivory Coast used to be like under 1%. They used to be about 2%. So if Ivory Coast is at 6%, what you do is you measure the percentage of growth. That is how you look at it. You don't just pick a country's indices and compare it to another countries. You look at where the country was and where the country is at the moment. If you are going to really measure Ivory Coast and Ghana, what you can do is to look at where they were in terms of each of the indices as at 2014, 2015, 2016, and where they are now. They can really tell whether they are doing well or not.
Can we say that for the dollar as well? Because I just even got a message, and you said that.
So
I have this in 2015. You and I'm pulling up this. You said, I hear the evil drafts are back and chewing the CD. Dollar gone back from 3.3 to 3.9. Call Bishop Duncan Williams, please. This was in August 4, 2015. Miracles. What do you say now with the dollar at 14.2?
I'm very sure that if in August 4, 2014, the dollar was growing that fast, if the same managers were here today, we'll be buying dollar at 25 cents.
Really?
Yes, because what was happening? Can you tell me what was happening in 2014? For which reason our city should move from 1.2 to 3.9? Can you tell me what was happening? Tell me the extraordinary things we are experiencing now. Even today, this evening as we speak, China, containers from China to Ghana has doubled. Are you aware?
So are you saying that they were better managers? That is why
I am telling you that if they move dollar from 1.2 or 1.3,
no, it was 3.3 at the time.
They took it at 1 cedi.
I'm giving you the I'm just saying that on August 4, 2015, Dennis Miracles Aboagye, you tweeted and you said that dollar has gone back from 3.3 to 3.9.
That's what I'm saying.
So
it would have been worse. This money why was it moving from 3.2 to 3.9? What was happening in 2014?
But now you took it at the point that you came to power, and now at 14.2.
That is why I'm telling you that you see,
if they were there, they wouldn't have done
it. It would be worse.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Bola, but why? When you're running an organization, you run an organization with the conditions. The conditions will determine where you can move the organization to. In Ghana today, the challenges we suffer, the challenges we face in the midst of global economy, if these managers were the ones in charge between 2020 and now, we'll be buying dollar at 25 cedis or 30 cedis. Because in 2014, we had no reason to have our dollar where it was at that point.
No reason?
Absolutely. Can you tell me some? Mention. I can tell you what COVID has done to us. I can tell you what
Ukraine
Russia have done to us. I can tell you what the challenges in Asia has done to us. Can you tell me what was happening in 2014? Mention, just tell me one.
Okay, so how come? Because I remember in 2022 buying dollars, because they were saying, those that have hoarded dollars, dollar will come down at a point. And many, we're talking about this. People said, if you have dollars in your room, go change it. And it happened. The dollar rate actually fell. I remember you tweeting on the 30th of August, 2022. You said this. You rushed to buy dollars at 10.1 Ghana cedis, hoping it rises to 12 cedis, so you make money. Now there you are, it's dropping. So how you go do one? Didn't you see that? You were able to stabilize and manage the economy for the dollar to depreciate or to drop.
So let me show you something.
Tell us.
So if you put in an intervention, 2022 November, you need about $400 million thereabout every month to buy crude. So it puts pressure on your currency. Then you bring in an intervention that reduces the need for that 400 million from 400 million to 200 million. Very significant. Then along the line, you see it improving. In fact, from November 2022 to somewhere around 2023, it had dropped. If it dropped, it almost came back to 8 cities.
You are right.
Great. Now, all of a sudden, you encounter crises that are beyond you. Don't forget.
Like what? Because no, you mentioned COVID and all of that. In 2022, 30th of August, you were able to stabilize the economy.
Exactly, but that's
so
what I'm saying.
that's
what I'm saying. That the crisis that all of us are trying to get out of is not over.
It's not over.
Is it? No, is it?
No, I'm saying
exactly. So, for example, in the last 2 weeks, I just mentioned the China situation to you. Today, if you buy something from China today, you can check the route that it uses. That is where the Iran-Israeli tension is mounted. So now they are using a longer route. So if they are charging you $1,000, they are not charging you $2,000 to get your things to Ghana. Now, if you spend $2,000 more than you used to spend last week to import something, you increase your prices. Apart from that, it means that whatever you bought last month with $1,000, you need an additional $1,000 to be able to get the same thing back into Ghana. Obviously, that is pressure on your currency. So these are exogenous conditions that no matter what you do, you have to deal with. When they come, you don't throw your hands in the air.
But if you're a manager of the economy, maybe you try to put in some measures, reliefs. You come through and say, look, guys, this is it. We are being confronted with this. So let's take this route. How about that?
Like what?
Of course, you mentioned that people are bringing in goods from China and all of that. Today, I heard the president of GUTA on radio and television saying that, can't we look at, a rebate? Can't we look at maybe the taxes that are slapped at the port? How about that? We are the country. We are the managers of our port. Can't we say that to help assuage what is going on? Maybe between now and July.
So what you do as a leader in a situation like this, and that's one of the key reasons why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia must be retained as a president.
Tell us.
You see, we need a long-term sustainable resolution to our economy. So long as we remain an import-dependent country, where we are importing so much, of almost about 70 to 80% of everything we are using, these challenges will never stop coming. And that is why if you have a country where you have a president or a leader that is putting in place long-term sustainability plans like fixing your education, which will improve your skilled labor to help with your productivity, ensuring that you are boosting your industries, putting in place specific interventions to build more industries, which would improve local production and reduce your dependence on the imports. You don't truncate this.
What about short-term reliefs?
You don't truncate. The short-term reliefs consistently will come, but that won't fix your currency situation.
So do we have some now?
Of course, we do. There are some. That is why the money you're supposed to use to go and pay your child fees, we are paying for you.
With free SHS.
That is why we are paying for you. What it means is that if you are supposed to pay 3,000 Ghana cedis a term, that is going to be 9,000 Ghana cedis a year that you were going to look for.
But
we put that in your pocket.
So we should give the steer to Dr.
So that the industrial plan will be completed. Today, how many auto companies that didn't used to be in Ghana are now in the country and really producing? These things take time. These things, you need 10 to 15 years to really actualize your industrialization plan. Now, if we truncate it like we did during the Kufuor era, we are in trouble. All that is going to happen is that we are going to reverse all these efforts for a party that doesn't believe in any of the things that we are talking about, for them to also come and try whatever it is that they need to do. The idea is this: let's finish what we've started. We have about 160 factories up. We need to build more. The policy is working. The program is working. There are companies that were struggling, companies that were going through difficulties that have been given some boost, and they are doing double what they used to do. Dako Farms is today producing. Okay? Kasapreko has been given support. They have another plant in Kumasi employing more people. 160.
So you believe
between 1992
yes.
and now, no government has had a deliberate policy to boost industrialization like this government has done. Indeed, what happened was that between 1994 and the year 2000, the government then, the NDC government, actually sold over 300 industries owned by the state. If the MPP was in government, then we wouldn't have sold them. What we would have done was to go through the route we are doing, a private-public partnership to ensure that these factories survive. We used to produce blade. We used to produce car tires. In fact, in my constituency, Mangwase, we were assembling vehicles. As far back as the 60s, these factories were there. Today, 80% of the things in this studio are imported. You know why? Because these factories that we could have revamped, 300 state-owned factories were sold by the government that is competing with us to come to office. Meanwhile, we know that this our economy would never stop wobbling until we fix our industrial agenda completely.
So under President Dr. Bawumia, these factories will be brought
because he believes in them. He believes that
match factory, the cannery,
it's happening.
Blade factory.
It's happening. I come from Ikiapim North.
Ever
since I was born, I have never seen a factory before. In fact, we used to travel from Latte to go through Dodowa and Dawenya to go and see factories in Tema. I'm telling you. And then we'll go and stand there. School will take you.
Okay.
You go and stand there and see the smoke.
On a side visit, yes. Where did you used to go?
Oh, I mean, I forgot about it. I mean, when you descend from
Dawenya, food cannery.
Sanyo. You remember Sanyo? Yes. I remember we went to Sanyo. Yeah. Sanyo had the TVs. We used to tour. You know, those were the days. I had never seen it in my area. Today, I have shoe fabric.
So why don't you do it now? Why do you want Dr. Bawumia to come before such factories are restored?
He's done 160 has been done. 160. Tell me which government deliberately came to power between 1992 and now. I'm telling you that the NDC sold 300 of our factories. In fact, they went to Parliament, enacted a law called the Diversity Implementation Act, brought the law to set up a Diversity Implementation Committee, and sold the factories like kerosene amongst themselves. Today, some of those factories are being used as churches. So the point is that this is a government, a political party seeking to come to office that does not believe in industrialization. They have no such record. The only record they can show is that they collapse industries. That is why I brought the Kufuor example. Kufuor built the financial base, which was going to serve as a launch pad to take us into our industrial era. Then we truncated it.
Okay, so
now Kufuor had to come 8 years later, at a time when a lot of the things Kufuor had done had been eroded. Before Kufuor came, all the financial boom, where banks were coming to your house for a loan, had collapsed. The banks didn't even have money to pay your own deposits.
Miracles, I'll come back to you, but that's why President Mahama is also saying that give me the mandate, 24-hour economy will be a reality. He's talking about getting to Industry 4.0. Technology and all of that, but clearly we'll get into that. But tell us, as a spokesperson and communication director for Dr. Bawumia, and he's the head of the economic management team, is he happy with the state of the economy?
Nobody is happy with our macroeconomic indicators.
Okay. So what is he telling you?
We are all worried. We are all worried, and that is the main reason why, as we speak, it's raining, but we are on the road because we know what the issues are. We know that
what are the issues?
The fundamentals must be fixed. Industrialization. No doubt about that. Talk to any economist in this world. Talk to any prophet. Go to the heavens and go and speak to the angels. They will tell you that Ghana's problem is that we are too much import dependent.
So why don't we do it now?
We started. That is why we are showing you.
He's the vice president.
That is why we are showing you the shortcut. I can proudly sit here and mention factories. That's what I'm telling you. That we've started. Bola, you are a businessman.
Right.
You don't see the impact of industrialization in 7-8 years. I told you, you need time. Today,
we started.
There are 160. I have 2 in my area. 2.
Mention them.
Agro farms, one of the biggest fully automated poultry farms in West Africa. Yes.
Farms, okay.
Shoe fabric. They are producing shoes. They have a partnership with Woodin. Go to the Woodin place. Today, this evening, as it was raining, you had young people. I was up the mountain before coming. You had young people in their black jeans and their yellow shirts. And you know where they are coming from? They are coming from a factory, a manufacturing company. We are showing the scorecard.
In your constituency or your...
The list of 160 I have
give us 10.
I cannot open and mention to you.
No, don't open it.
I mentioned Akko Farms to you.
Yes.
I mentioned Akko Farms. I mentioned Kasa Preko.
2.
I mentioned Kasa Ropa. I cannot mention 10 factories on top of my head.
Okay.
But I can open the list and share with you. I have every data you can think of in this country. I have it on my phone. 160, Bola. And this is our scorecard. And we are saying that we've done 160. Let's finish. We can do 300 because we have shown you 160.
Oh, you want to do 300?
Or more.
Wow.
Because you see, if we don't do this, Bola, it doesn't matter how many times we do. And as for former President Mahama, forget about him. He has nothing to offer us. I mean, So the man is saying that I was president, but I couldn't do it. Make me president, I'll do it. Basically, that is what the man is saying. I was president, I couldn't do it. We are giving an opportunity to a new person, somebody that hasn't been president before. Let him also come and show us what he can do. How difficult is this? Why should we blow this opportunity? If we blow this chance and we give this country back to John Mahama, His Excellency, and he takes us back for another 4 years, why do we do this to the MPP? Why? Every time we move this country on the path of growth, we'll bring the NDC, they will send us 8 years back, then we will come. When we come to fill the hole, then we are about to launch ourselves into the future, then you will take us back again. Bola, when is this going to end? It becomes tiring. It becomes difficult.
Miracles, how much of the current state of the economy does Dr. Bawumia personally take responsibility for? And how much would he apportion to the finance
He is part of the country. He is part of the government. So he takes responsibility for the good, the bad, and the ugly. I can tell you without any shred of doubt that if we take sector by sector of this country, there is nowhere the NDC will beat us. And
really?
let me tell you something. You see,
Sami JFE of the NDC sent in something and wants to maybe.
So
you said that they can't sleep.
Of course they can't.
Really, the NDC can't sleep.
Yes, they can't.
Why?
Because we will beat them in this election. Bola, you mentioned 24 hours. Do you understand what is 24 hour economy? Do you understand it? You are one of the senior most
journalists. Why not?
What is 24 hour economy?
So he's saying that industrialization is also bringing that economies will work for 24 hours, 8-hour shift. Don't you love that? Don't tell me.
You said you
started that.
Dr. Bawumia said that. No, what is 24-hour economy?
People are working in shift. They're going out there. So 2 a.m. you can go out there and the factory is working.
This your factory.
Is that working?
No, wait. This your factory.
We run 24 hours.
Close?
No, we don't.
Range Hospital is just here. Do they close?
So I'm giving you an understanding of it.
You know Tiptoe Lane?
No.
Hold on. You know Tiptoe Lane?
Yes, I do.
Does it close?
No.
Okay.
But he said that he's going to go everywhere.
So it's not possible.
Why not?
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Anybody that comes to promise you 24-hour economy everywhere in your country.
Some hotels are closing.
Tell me
by 12 midnight. Some pharmacies are
closing
to a hotel
at 12 midnight. Hold on, wait.
Yes.
A hotel is opened.
Okay.
It's 10 p.m.
Right.
There is nobody coming in.
Okay.
What would you do to him for him to open overnight?
5.6. Just get things to work.
So that nobody comes and then you pay for his fuel.
No, clearly not.
So what? That is why.
So what about the pharmacy? I walk into a pharmacy now. Maybe
that is why no president. That is why no serious politician
will believe in 24 hours.
No, goes around saying that my policy is 24 hours. You know what you do?
Tell us.
You say that my policy is that when I come, I'll give you a lot more capital so you inject into your business so you can produce more.
And that's what you want to do.
When you produce more, I don't have to tell you to open 24 hours. You will decide. I have a factory. Need to fix or something.
Right.
In where I live in my neighborhood.
Right.
Okay. They operate 24 hours. No government has a gun. Yes, no government has a gun to their head to open 24 hours. You know why they open 24 hours? They open because they have a lot of demand for their product. Do you know why the factory next to them?
Why don't you systemize it? Why don't you make it, give them
it does not make sense.
Many of them want to work.
It doesn't make sense. I'm telling you, no factory that has demand for their product and wants to sell is closing at 12 hours.
Because you create the environment for them to work.
The environment, if you go to the area where I'm talking about, police is operating 24 hours. They patrol there. When you detour on the motorway, you see that small roundabout?
Light, 24 hours.
24 hours.
No, light, 24 hours.
But when you say 24 hours, what does it mean? Don't you have light 24 hours?
No, so with the doomso and all of that happening.
So he gave you, okay, fair enough. He gave you, the person promised you the light. He gave you doomso for 3 years out of his 4 years. I have given you powers for 7 years and given you, call it doomso, for 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
You are saying that you will take a 3 years out of 4 years government over a 7 years of power and 10 weeks of electricity. Even your child will be worried about you if you take that decision.
Really?
It doesn't add up. Bola, I'm telling you that we are going into this election with logic, no emotions. We have low ends. The macroeconomic indicators, like I told you earlier, is struggling. Rightly so. Just like the UKs are struggling, just like the US are struggling, just like Ivory Coast is struggling. Nigeria has the worst currency in the world today. We are all trying to get out of it. But it doesn't mean that we hand over the country to a government that we know cannot deliver.
Okay.
Who are you giving the government to?
We're coming. We just have about some 30 minutes to hit it. We'll be going for a short commercial break. But many messages for you, Miracles. Oh, you have a huge fan base. People say that, however, I'm NDC, but anytime that he's running for president.
It's Bawumia they love. It's not me. It's Bawumia they love.
He says, Bola, I know you are tough, but this guy is going boot for boots. I love him. He's a great politician. I want him on my team if I'm ever standing for presidency. Interesting. And that is coming in to you from Abena out there in West Legon. Also coming to you from Martha. Martha says that, wow, what a guy in your studio. Bola, I'm loving the discussion, but clearly he should also know that 8 years on, the fundamentals of the economy is still weak.
Perfect.
How much of import elements have been reduced? And I want him to answer that. So that's from Martha going out to you, and we'll get into that. But also from me, I want to know from you, has the lack of borrowing on the international capital market revealed the real state of the Ghana cedi?
I mean, yes and no. Again, you know this country, like I said, you have a country where, because you didn't have a proper identification system, you had barely 10% or so paying for our upkeep.
Right.
So clearly, at every point in time, until we fix that, we always have to go and look for additional funding before we can really take care of ourselves within the year. And it's one of the fundamentals we have to fix. And it's one of the fundamentals Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been focusing on.
Is he fixing it?
Yes. That is why today, it is very, very difficult for you to evade critical taxes, because we have a national identification system which we've been working on for close to 24 years and never materialized, now materializing. And do you know what he did? He said he didn't give you the ID card. He said that your bank account will be connected to your ID card. He says your SIM card will be registered to your ID card. Your business that you are going to register is connected to your ID card. Your tax identification number is registered to your ID card. Do you know what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is doing for this country? Pretty soon, when all these synchronizations are done and settled, we're going to increase the number of people who pay towards the upkeep of this country in taxes. And do you know what that means? Once we are getting enough, we don't have to go and borrow. But until then, we need to have a short-term way of making sure that we keep the country going. So you don't come in the midst of these fixes to come and truncate the government that has shown you evidence of giving you solution for the long term, and bring this government that has no idea.
Okay, so we're moving on. Still on your messages, you can send WhatsApp messages on 055-288-0216, 0535183317. And Dr. Nana Kweku Mamfe in Tema Community 25 says, Bola, I listen to every show of yours. This is one of the best, and it will go down history books. You are just great, and your guest is a great communicator as well. What an interview. But my question to him is that what is in the package for persons with disabilities in Dr. Bawumia's government? Any thoughts that he can share? My name is Nana Kweku Mamfe in Tema Community 5 with a disabled center at Tema Community 25. So he wants to know.
I think that, so there's something that the government has been doing, and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is taking it a top notch. So when we came to office, you know, the persons with disability have a fund through the common fund that was increased. The percentage was increased, and the president directed that we no longer give cash, tabletop cash, to the PWDs. What used to happen is that when the money comes, the DC will go and withdraw the money, put it in envelopes, and then you come, you take 100 cedis, you go 200 cedis, another quarter it comes. But he directed that we create a sustainable way of keeping these PWDs. So we started giving them capital to set up businesses. We started building containers for them. We started stocking their shops for them. We opened cold stores for them. I was an MCE then. And I remember correctly that in my district, by the time I left, we had about 170 persons with disability that we have set up in businesses. Now, what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is saying is that once these people are engaged in businesses, and those who are young and growing up, what do? I went to Kwapman School. You know, it's a PWD school. We had a lot of visually impaired there, and I was in class with some of them. They struggle. You know, taking care of a person with disability is very difficult. Unlike, you know, the regular child, you need to do more, spend more. So we need to come in with an intervention to parents so that they'll be encouraged to make sure that these PWDs have the full hall of education. With what I have seen, if you give the PWD person the full hall of education, he's as whole as any other child you can think of. I sat in class with a lot of them. So he says, once you get free senior high school, which is there, and you complete, we need to put in an intervention for you. So all PWDs who go to tertiary will be going to tertiary for free.
And that's what Dr. Bawumia will do if he becomes president.
Everybody that is PWD will attend tertiary for free.
You know what? I actually got this information from Statista, and I want to share that with you because, you know, I also want to do my research and base it as we talk about. So Ghana inflation rate from 1987 to 2029, I've actually gone down into it, and I want to give you the high indices. In 1987, it was just a short of 40%. The highest we've had in our country was actually in 1995, where it was hovering around, close to 60%, 58 points, that's the figures from Statista. But also in 2023, and that is what baffles, we are, in regards to inflation, we are hovering around, 38. Does that give you a chance or cause to worry? And many are saying that, okay, maybe let's review some of the social interventions.
So I told you, before you be able to really be hard on ourselves as a country, always look at what's happening and be sure you are the only person going through that. UK is going through a 40-year-old inflation. They've never seen anything like that, 40 years. So clearly, it is not peculiar to Ghana with the history you are given. US is seeing its own. UK in 2022, because of their inflationary challenges, had to change their prime ministers, I think, 2 or 3 times within 6 months.
Correct.
So it tells you that it's something that is happening, it's a wave, and it's something that we have to work at. But let me show you something. In taking the decision, you are going to say that, well, MPP, why have you taken us to 38? What do? We need to kick you out. Who are you kicking out and who are you bringing? Now, if you kick out MPP, this is what you are likely to experience. And these are the inflationary figures, the record of the one you are likely to bring. Former President Mahama took office in 2012, right? He inherited this country from Professor Mills. The time he took office, Professor Mills had inflation at 8.8%. Okay, great. Now, in his first year...
Dr. Dufour was the finance minister at the time.
Yes, and it was 8.8. So when Dr. Dufour left and Jomama His Excellency came,
right,
he moved it from 8.8 to 13.5. Then he moved it from 13.5 to 17. Then he moved from 17 to 17.7. As at the time he was leaving, the inflation he inherited at 8.8 had moved to 15%. Not a single year in his entire presidency was he able to bring our inflation down, at least to the point he met. Now, let's look at this. When we took office in 2017, inflation was 15.4%. We moved it from 15.4% to 11%. We moved it from 11% to 9%. As at 2019, before COVID, inflation had come to 7.9%, way below where Dr. Dufour left it. Do you know what this means? And that is the point we keep making as a political party, that what happened between 2020 and now is something that had not happened in the last 120 years. The last time we experienced it was during the Spanish flu. And that is something that took everybody by surprise. Indeed, if we knew how to manage COVID like we do today, we wouldn't have shut down. We would have struggled as a country, because today COVID is still there, but today the entire world knows how to manage it. So if you look at the government that took office, that has had 8 years in office and managed to bring inflation down to lower than where they took it, and then you say, because we have obvious challenges, unless you are not acknowledging the challenges, which you cannot run away from because the evidence is abound. Because you have obvious challenges, you are saying that I am going to take you away from the presidency and give it to who? You are going to give it to the man whose record shows that in each of the years that he was president, he made our inflation worse. Bola, I said, and I will say it again, we are going into 2024 elections with logic, not emotions. I agree. Inflation is very bad. It's terrible.
Right.
I agree. The dollar and the exchange rate against our cedi is poor. But I tell you what, if we continue on this emotional tangent, we are going to wake up in 2027, 2028 with dollar at about 30, 35 under Mahama.
Really?
But the evidence is there. This is his record.
So you think that the alternative is not...
Has he given you an answer? You mentioned 24 hours, you couldn't explain.
I couldn't explain. Yes, I told you about running. So that you even support me that is running now.
If that is what you stand by, and you know what the case will ask you.
No.
But Daddy, which country has 24 hours and everywhere in the country? Tell me one country.
No, but of course. I mean, people have talked about the nightlife, the entertainment.
Tell me one country that has 24 hours everywhere.
You've traveled.
It's only in London.
No, but come on.
It is only in London.
Even in Accra, we have...
Hold on.
No.
Oh, but Bola, what I'm telling...
If you want us to put...
Bola, it is only in London.
In Amsterdam, it's happening. Yes,
only in the city. One city.
But in Accra, do we have that? I mean, I live out there in Legon. I'm saying that in the whole of Accra.
But who told you that in London?
No, I'm asking.
Bola,
you are saying
Bola,
London.
Bola, hold on.
I'm saying that
Bola, hold on.
Yes.
In London,
yes,
we don't have 24 hours everywhere in London.
No, I'm not saying.
Exactly. So where in the world do we have? Where in the world do we have
24-hour everywhere in the city.
Mama says you make it
even
possible.
In Sydney.
He said you make it
even
possible.
Sydney.
Yes.
That is the torchlight of 24-hour.
Yes.
It's not everywhere.
New York City. You go
It's
out there
not
to Times Square.
everywhere. Times Square.
No, you
Times
asked,
Square.
you asked, and I'm finishing
Times
you with
Square.
answers.
So it is nowhere in the, and not
finishing you
everywhere
with
in the
answers.
city. I'm saying that is false.
And he says that you make it
So
possible.
there are two lies in the 24 hours.
Yes.
One, there is nowhere in the world that you have 24-hour everywhere in the country.
Okay.
And the fact is that you cannot have 24-hour everywhere in the country.
But he says you make
You
it
know,
possible. Why not?
If I know they have cocoa farm, that's what they do. So they go to the farm in
Mama
and
says
for 24
he
hours.
says 24
So the
hours.
guy is lying. If he tells you that he's like, but why? If you tell the people in Frano or Equiase that you give them 24 hours, they won't take you seriously. Because there is nowhere in the world,
But
even in Accra.
Don't we have a point that you can start and say, look, we're starting off of this.
It doesn't
and
make sense in the first place.
Really?
Yes. It doesn't make sense. There are certain things that are not possible.
I know tomorrow they will
because
actually come back at you.
No,
and
because
tell
it
you why
doesn't make
do it.
sense. They should come and tell me that they can actually make 24-hour everywhere in this country. It doesn't. Even my 7-year-old
it
child
starts
will not
from
believe.
somewhere.
No, it
You
doesn't.
asked, and that's why.
No, it doesn't.
Anyway,
it doesn't. 24-hour can happen. It's a push and pull situation. It's a demand and supply situation.
But
That is why
Miracles,
even in Accra,
you told me, and you asked, where is it working? Does it start somewhere? Does it work somewhere? I gave you an example.
No,
I said London and
that's not what I said.
everywhere.
I said, where in the world
Yes.
do we have 24-hour working everywhere in the country? That was my point.
Well, everywhere, but I'm saying that it starts from
No,
somewhere.
it doesn't. I'm telling you that
Oh, so you should take off from
as
everywhere.
a matter of fact,
Yes.
there is nowhere in the world that you can have 24-hour running everywhere in the country. That is why in Ghana, it is already running.
So you told me, that's what I was
No,
coming
but
to.
that is
That you said that it's
but that's
running.
the point we keep making, and the NDC guys are not hearing that the 24-hour thing is not a policy. 24-hour is not a policy; it is an outcome of a policy. 24-hour is an output.
I'm not here to talk for the NDC.
No,
I don't
but
want to-
you,
I'm not struggling. I don't want to talk
not
to-
just you.
Yes.
They have put all journalists in the country in a very difficult situation.
I asked you a question.
Because
You
they
followed up with
themselves,
the
they
question.
have given 5 different explanations. The flag bearer says different thing. Their MP say 24 hours when they build airports. Their spokesperson says that when people will sell watching at night. Their people are saying that the organizer on the Techima Highway.
You asked me one thing, and I came to. I said even for my field and where I work in media, and anything, we operate 24 hours. I told
And
you.
that has been our position.
Yes. So if he said it's not working,
So,
he said
you didn't hear me.
Okay.
And
What
let
is
your
point?
listeners hear me.
What is your
I am
point?
telling you that 24-hour economy, one, cannot work everywhere in the country. There's no evidence of same. 2, 24-hour is a demand and supply situation. What it means is that in areas that it is needed, it will happen. That is why we make the point that in Ghana, there is already 24-hour economy working in sectors and industries.
Okay.
If you go to East Legon, where high census,
Right.
there's a pharmacy that operates 24 hours.
True.
If you come to my neighborhood, if I go to Tema today, there are young people who have closed from work and gone home.
I know
and there are new ones
top
who have come to work.
pharmacy in East Legon, and they
You
operate
know
24.
why?
Yes.
Because when they open at 24 hours, they have a market that will come and buy.
There's some filling stations that operate 24
Exactly.
hours. So,
So-
maybe Mahama wants to make sure that a lot more filling
You
stations
don't
on the
promise
high
an
roads.
outcome. You promise what you will do.
So he says give him the power.
To do what?
He will make sure that
No,
on the way to Cape Coast.
That is why
he will
everybody
get
is
to
confused.
Frames oil and is working.
But it's there. When you want to cook, there are filling stations working. So tell us things that we don't have.
Okay.
On your way to Cape Coast, there are filling stations working.
No problem. We'll go for a break.
Tell the guy they worry all of us.
Don't worry, relax. Before the break, I got a message coming in from Martha.
Yeah.
And Martha says that can you get him to address, okay, so I'm opening up the message. It says, can you get Miracles to address this issue? Today, the NDC is accusing Dr. Bawumia of being guilty of nepotism by appointing his family members to government positions and all of that. Can he come out to say, well, he says that his sister and brother work as government officials, as well as family members of his wife, Samira Bawumia. How do you respond to this guilty as charged or not?
But who said he will not appoint Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign for president? And where do you have a voice for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaigning for president and say that when I become president,
I'll not appoint family members?
Is he president?
No, he says that NDC is accusing you that you have, even as vice president, you have your family members. Because the person, when they say Abu Ramadan is Bawumia's brother-in-law, deputy director of NADMO, Fauzi Ramadan, brother of the second lady Samira Bawumia, and doubles as a special assistant. Also Alhaji Ahmed Ramadan, Bawumia's father-in-law. And then you have Mumuni Abdullah Bawumia, brother of Bawumia, technical advisor to the Minister of Interior.
Samira's brother is MP for Adenta. He's NDC. He didn't have the capacity. he has the capacity. That's why he's there. Is that the case?
So no problem at all with that.
Bola, today, me, if I become president
and you appoint
my cousins can no longer work in government, and I even hear them mention special assistant. But if I'm president or I'm second lady and I have my brother as my special assistant, I should come and pick you as my special assistant.
So that's a no-brainer. I mean, that is a point that they shouldn't even push.
I want to understand. The problem is that you gave our box site wholly to your brother. That's the real issue. That is the problem. The problem is not your brother doing business. Your brother can do business. There's no problem. The problem is that when you carry the entire box site wholly, if you give part of it to him, nobody will talk. But if you give everything to him, we will talk. For me, I don't think this is an issue. I am not one of the people who believe in the fact that when you are president, so if you don't take care, what will happen is that people will stop their brothers and family people to become president. Because I'm doing my business already. Okay. You become president and all of a sudden there's a radar on me. Okay. It's problematic.
So no issues with that at all.
What is the issue?
NPP doesn't have
what the NDC are doing is that they are trying to wipe away their guilt. That's their problem. That's not our business. That's why they are flaunting. And in any case, Dr. Bawumia, is he president? Is he president? See, Mahama, his classmate is another Danko Kufado, not Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
On that note,
his classmate is another. They are colleagues.
His classmate is not Dr. Bawumia.
No, they are presidents. They are colleagues. He should go and look for his co-equals and colleagues, and he should retire.
Oh, President Mahama should retire.
That is what former presidents do. This is unheard of. These things they happen in the junta country. You know, the places where we have military people. You've been president. We gave you 4 years. You were vice president. We gave you 4 years. You came to us and told us, well, I was a spare driver. He said that at the debate. I was a spare driver. And I want you to give me an opportunity to come and show you what I can do. You sent us into darkness for 3 years out of your 4 years. Banks collapsed. Banks couldn't pay us our deposits. 100,000 children were left on the streets without having opportunity to go to school. You know why? Because we didn't have classroom blocks enough. And they couldn't afford.
But he did the E-blocks.
E-blocks, he did only 29. 29. If you put the number of students he can take, they are not up to 1,000. He built an E-block in Upper Menya.
So give him the chance to
there is an E-block.
Housing.
Hold on, there is an
200 million was sacked.
Let me tell you one interesting. There is an E-block in Upper Menya where they built the school. You need to walk 5 kilometers before you get to the town, and it's a day school. How can anybody be this wicked?
On that note, we'll go for a break and then we'll come back. It's just some 3 minutes after 8. Dennis Miracles Aboagye is our guest here. We'll be right back. Big thank you going out to MTN everywhere you go, to Haptel is everything you and Bill's credit. Thank you very much. And also Top Choco. You know, there's nothing more pleasing than Top Choco. Chocolate spread on bread. It has the power to awaken your taste buds and also make you happy instantly. It's simple. 3-in-1 instant choco mix. Chocolate drink is just suitable for both cold chocolate milkshakes and cups of delicious hot chocolate. Just add hot water. Well, that's it. Get your hands on Top Choco today and experience the joy of chocolate in a cup. And also MTN Extra Time. You know, we all have those days when you are low on everything. Energy, time, cash, and even airtime, as well as data. Well, that's why MTN Extra Time is an airtime and data advanced service that allows you to make calls or browse the internet even when you have insufficient balance. All you have to do is dial star 506 hash, star 506 hash, and go through the prompts and select the amount of airtime or data that you want. It's more than simple. Doing your favorite things on MTN means that you don't get interrupted when you are low on airtime or data. And please remember, all T's and C's apply. A big thank you to GCB Bank, your bank for life. Haptel is everything you and Coa Plus mixture for your general well-being. All right, so we have a message from Nana Kwame Dan. So Nana Kwame Dan says that, Bola, please ask Dennis Miracles Aboagye, will Alan Chemantin affect vote projections in the World Bank Ashanti region? Welcome back, Dennis Miracles. So Nana wants to know, will Alan Chemantin being in there affect your vote in your World Bank, the Ashanti region? What are you picking up?
We're not sure he's on the ballot paper yet. But for us, we have a strategy. Our strategy is to convince every single voter to vote for us. And we are not leaving any stone unturned. We see every single person moving across the country campaigning as a competitor. And we value all the competitors on the same scale. And so ours is to work hard and ultimately make sure that the voter is convinced to vote for us. And like I said earlier, we want to convince the voter to vote for us. We are just not asking for people's votes. We want to make sure that you are voting for a good cause. You are voting for the long-term sustainability of this country.
All right. Yvette sent in this one. It says that Bola asked him, in the estimation of the team, and I'm listening to you from West Legon, how important is the running mate's contribution to the outcome of the 2024 polls? And also, has the process to decide who is drawn down, is it down to the person's integrity? Have you decided on who becomes the running mate, Miracles?
So the running mate will be one that will complement the candidate. I mean, if you're a candidate and you want a running mate, you do a SWOT. You know where your threats and your weaknesses are.
Right.
And then you look for somebody that would fix those
Have you
gaps.
done that SWOT analysis?
I mean, the vice president is the one with the prerogative. The flag bearer is the one with the prerogative. He's done it.
He's done it?
Of course. I mean, it's easy.
So many who are saying that you've not chosen, you
it's
don't
done
know.
long time ago. But
It's done.
Yeah, but we have a plan. We have a strategy. We have the same way we started our campaign just 2 weeks ago. Why didn't we start our campaign in January? Why didn't we start in February? Why did we start now? We have a plan. We have a rollout plan.
When is the final announcement?
We know when. We would announce when it's about to be announced.
You will announce when it's
about to be announced.
But it will definitely before June. It will be.
No, I mean, it can be tomorrow. It can be
okay.
the day after tomorrow. It can be next week. It can be next month. We will definitely announce when it's about to be announced. We have a strategy. Bola, we are going into these elections against principalities and powers. And we are not leaving any stone unturned.
Really?
We are not going to leave anything out there to chance. And we won't put our strategies out there. Why are they so desperate to know who are our animators? They had a whole year. The flag bearer was elected in May 2023. He announced the running mate about a month ago and did an outdoor about some 2 weeks ago. I'm sure they will do a third, ceremony. But the point is that if you had 1 year to nominate your running mate, why are you mounting pressure on me for 6 months?
So you're saying no pressure. You have a plan.
We have a plan. We know who. We know already.
Okay.
We know who is going to be the running mate. It will be announced in due course.
Robert in Seoul says, Bola, as always, great program, well delivered. Please ask Miracles. Will it be Dr. Matthew Opoku Pempe or Irene Natoshi Adu?
It can be Kofi Mensah. But Bola, see, 2008,
yes.
Dr. Bawumia was nowhere close to being named. You know what happened? People actually cooked and organized parties at their homes, came with their freshly ironed clothes to the National Council. No, they were sure.
Oh,
yeah.
That it was going to be.
They were sure. There were people who knew that it's me.
But
and then Dr. Bawumia was named. So Charlie, the thing
so people came and they thought they were going to be named.
Yes.
As a running mate.
And Dr. Bawumia's name was never part of it. So the day he was announced.
Wow.
Yes. So these things.
Are we saying that there can be surprises?
But why? That thing is in one person's head. It's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said, but he knows who. Because he's already figured out what he's going to do for this country.
Is it Dr. Educhum?
It can be Kojo Mensah, it can be Ifeame, it can be everybody. I mean, all the names you are mentioning are capable hands. Any of them can be fantastic running mates.
Okay.
And so it can be any of them. Ultimately, we need only one person.
Okay.
And he's quite clear in his mind who this person will be.
But definitely before July, the running.
It can be even in October. That is our planning, our strategy. He was named in August.
In August.
Yes, so it can be October.
Wow. We
can decide to name him a day before closing of nomination.
Hey, then Dr. Bawumia is that strong that he can go all through without naming his running mate, and you do it a day before.
Why? Do you know what strategies we are using? Why do you want to dictate? Let's allow the man to follow what the strategy is.
But he has the person in mind.
Long time. Wow. Long time. He knows long time.
So for many that are saying that he's indecisive, he doesn't know.
Bawumia plans ahead, though.
Okay. Bawumia
knew I was going to be communication director for his campaign way before he was elected as a flag bearer.
He knew.
He knew. He's told me this. So we should allow him.
Okay.
If there is anybody that has steady hands in terms of leadership for this country, we have it in Bawumia. He's not a regular politician. Bawumia is not a regular politician. No. I can tell you I am a thoroughbred politician even than Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
You are?
He's a technocrat. Because I started this when I was very small. So I've been basically dragged through. He is not. He's a fine line between a technical person and he's learned on the job. He's learned on the job and then he's picked up. But this kind of leader, if we miss him, it will take us a long time to have another person.
We won't have any.
It will take us a long time to have another person this kind.
Really? You love his dancing skills, right?
Yes.
He's a good dancer.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
What has been the review? So we've seen Dr. Bawumia, dancing and, the movements and all of that.
Dance has no formation.
Oh, dance has no formation.
It all depends on how you feel.
Miracles.
What you feel.
Okay.
As for dance, it's about moving your limbs.
Okay.
So, I mean...
So was he doing that Zonto or he was... What dance?
Where did Azonto? I'm sure some 13 years ago, or let me say 30 years ago, people will see Azonto and take your mad.
But, yeah.
It became a dance move.
Okay.
Today we have another one that people are shaking.
What's it
like,
called? Yeah.
Chalabala.
Yeah.
That's it. Be what?
So what's...
Banana if you dance.
Dr. Bawumia's dance?
We they can't dance you right now. The Bawu dance moves.
The Bawu dance?
When they come do them. Very soon at the
you go do them. You go launch them.
BWP and the guys. What we doing? That's God Lloyd. Afonita. They go do right now.
So Dr. Bawumia will bring all of them
but
to
the moves that Bawumia did, have you seen it anywhere?
Exclusive, eh?
Yeah, so more could promote them.
Wow. People are saying he's dancing offbeat. We should look at the economy.
But
you heard
but the Trabalate isn't offbeat. That's it, you know the offbeat.
So you admit that Dr. Bawumia is dancing?
I always say dance has no formula. Dance, it has no formula.
Wow.
You can pick only one bit of the sound and move to it. So okay. You are doing all this one will be part. Wow. The last one you go cut away.
Are you a good dancer?
No.
Oh, you are not.
Well, we are saying we better fast.
Now, let's get to meet, Dennis Miracles Aboagye. When the cameras are off, what kind of person are you?
Very calm.
Very calm, eh?
Oh, I don't talk plenty. Very calm. Wow. I like to be home.
Okay.
Typically, if I'm not out there doing all these things, I'm home.
You're home?
I'm home.
Oh, so you don't go out to parties, nightclubs, nothing?
I will sleep right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. Like loud sound, I bed. Loud sound, I sleep. Wow. There are times that I'll dress up, the boys will come move.
Charlie.
By the time we reach, if we say we go, so by the time we reach the palace there,
yeah, you bed.
Oh, no, I'm dozing off.
Wow.
But
you're married?
Yes.
You've been married for how many years?
10 years this year.
Wow.
10 years this year.
So you got married at age 29?
Yes.
Wow.
Married earlier, good.
You married earlier? Why the temptation? Okay, why the temptation?
Oh, no,
when growing up,
the temptation, that's it, between the age 20 now, you can do all.
So we will come to
by the time you hit 29, you finish. If at 29 you still don't see what they say you there.
No hope. Yeah. How many children?
I have 4.
4?
Yes, I have 4.
Wow, you've been working, you've been busy.
Add more.
You add more.
Yeah.
You want to have how many children?
11, 12.
11 children?
Why not?
Wow, strong man.
Yeah,
testosterone is on.
When you are not there,
yes,
there must be a lot of testimonies and it should be all over the place. You understand? And if you have 11, you encourage them.
Yes.
Charlie, you marry Eve, you marry Kobo, marry Gam. So at your funeral, you should have the Evers are lining up. The Hausa people are lining up. The guys are. Now there's this chief in the Kiapem, Ekufu. You met the Justice Ekufu, their family. Oh, he had like 100 and something.
You want to be like Maxi Priest. You want to have.
Oh, but the our Nana Ekufu do Kwapehine. Justice of Ekufu's grandfather.
Yeah.
You know what the opportunities now?
No.
He's had almost about 2 or 3 of his descendants being chief justices and presidents. Today if you go to Chebi, the Okwape Hima is from there. So by the time you realize the Okwape Hima, the Chebi Hima, the Oche Hima is your descendants. The Otufo then is your descendants. The Okwape is, that is how I think it should be.
And that's how you want.
No, I have a wife.
10 or 11.
I have a wife who
with one woman.
Yes.
Oh, not with 2 men.
No, me, I'm a Methodist.
You're a Methodist. So one man, one wife.
One, so she has to be ready.
She's ready.
She wants to have 20, 30 if she can. No, it's important.
It's important.
It's very, very important. Plenty children is important. And it's fulfilling the Bible.
Oh.
We are unable to
be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah, we are unable to live up to everything in the Bible. So if you have small chance you can fulfill one, you do that one. So at least you can show card and say, God, this one I do have.
So secondary school was where for you?
I mean, Okwapeman School.
Oh, Okwapeman.
So from Swiss, 80% of my mates were either going to Infantipim, Adisadel, St. Augustine's, because Swiss is in Swedro.
Correct.
In fact, as at the time I was leaving Swiss, our headmaster had become the Adisadel College headmaster. So like Swiss, everybody goes to. Then my mother said, no, you won't go to Cape Coast. You have to go back home.
Okay.
So that was how come I came to Okwapeman School. So I didn't choose Okwapeman. I didn't want to go.
Okay. No. You didn't want to go to
I
Okwapeman.
got Infantipim School. That was the school I got.
You got Infantipim?
Yes, that was the school I got.
Jenny Chekan.
That was the school
Any
I got.
regrets?
But that's where, because in my class, out of the 3640 in Swiss DHS 3B then. Almost all the boys were going to Fatipim. We all agreed that we were going to Fatipim.
You got in Fatipim?
All of us. Because I got grade 6. I mean, if you get grade 6.
Sharp boy.
No, all of them. One. You know, so...
Any regrets not going to Infantry?
No. Command School is the best.
What's your motto?
Semper Primus.
Semper Primus.
Always first.
Oh.
Always
okay, I think Kwame Sevakai was
Yes, Kwame Sevakai is the line. It's the best school.
It's the best there.
Yeah, it's the best school. On the hills, on the mountains, serene environment.
Oh.
You know.
I'd love to visit Okwapi, man.
If you boy, you know, take care, you know, go for bath every day because you were that.
Oh, so you didn't used to bath as
well? No, I'm just saying if.
No, I'm saying.
You know, day guard. No, me a day guard, so I bath.
And I'm told, you know, you are quite industrious. What's your relationship with entrepreneurship? Because, you know, yes, you have some rough moments.
Where I come from.
Yes.
You know, where I come from, Latte, Abidjede. You have to survive.
Okay.
And growing up, I grew up in a home where we're like 30.
30?
On the small house, if you enter, everybody did there.
Single room?
No, house.
House, okay.
The equipment houses, they are small. Well, you know the place.
Yes,
they are slim houses, and we are plenty.
30.
All the aunties were all teenagers then. All the uncles were teenagers. Everybody we're all growing up. So I lived in an environment where you have to survive.
Wow.
And you must find ways to. And so I told myself, I will make it. The thing I will make it.
Sharp.
So I told myself that. So it's something that you keep working at. When I was at Legon, that was when I registered my first business.
Your first business?
Media X Multimedia. You know Legon, the hall, you print all those exercise books. Yeah. We have printed...
Which hall were you?
Ekwafu Hall.
Ekwafu Farmer?
Yes, I printed the Ekwafu Hall books when I was in final year.
You're kidding
I
me,
bid for the contract and I got it. I was a student.
You printed the Ekwafu
Media X Multimedia. You know Tanic?
Yeah, Tanic,
yeah. I used to print for them. I used to do branding for Tanic.
That must have been 23 or 24.
That time I just finished Lego. I for survive.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been like that. And so I've grown up with it. So no matter what I'm doing, you always do a side
job.
This morning, if you ate sausage, I'm sure you ate my sausage.
Your sausage? You are into sausage production?
Yeah, pig farming, you process it into ham bacon, you know.
Miracles Aboagye.
But if I mention right now, people go study NDC, they don't go eat. You don't get our politics somewhere.
So they are eating your sausage, but they don't know you are the one behind
if they know what I said, no, Miracles. So they will tell us a challenge, this is Miracles, so I didn't eat out. You know, our politics is some way.
Sausage production. Do you sometimes regret that your friends on the other side of
my best friends are in NDC.
Your best friends are in the NDC?
Yes, my best friends are in the NDC.
Who are some of your best friends? Two best friends? Yeah, like who?
Plenty of them.
No, so two.
Let me be careful.
No, two.
No, let me be careful.
But your best friends?
Yes, they are in NDC.
They are in NDC?
They are in NDC. But you see, our politics is toxic.
It's toxic.
The way the politics is. If you don't take somebody in NDC even knows that this is Miracles. No, you know, you can't even in some way. So you are always, but we know where we meet and we deal. that one, because we are friends, we are brothers.
Okay.
You know, ultimately we are brothers.
Can't we transport this or let it translate into our national politics? You know, because people like you, we want to see, especially in election.
I always tell people,
we want to see you and Sami Jemfi healthy debate.
But we are, yes, we are. Yes. Sami Jemfi and I, we talk.
Okay.
We talk. I mean, I'm sure once I leave here, he will come and say, "Oh boy, so I always tell the listeners and the viewers that listen, it's just debating ideas. We are sharing thoughts. We are competing ideas. Let's not take the aggression and the seriousness with which we assert or make our point, move it into, you know, the MPs, they are friends. There are MPs from opposing sides that are business partners. We have business partners in NDC.
Wow.
Yes.
You have business partners in NDC.
Yes, we do business.
We do business together.
Yes,
even now.
Even now, of course. But I think we start time before we can do the politics. So we meet and still strategize around our business. Wow. Yeah, because MPP NDC, don't we have brothers who are MPP NDC? Don't we have? So we need to move on, and we all have to use our platforms to educate people. That is competing ideas. Listen to what the people are saying. And if you think that Miracles' idea is superior, you take it. But don't go fighting for me. You know, don't go fighting somebody because you've heard me say something. And no, we are friends. Don't fight for us. So really, that's how it's been, and that's what led me into the entrepreneurship space. I do a lot of things.
You do a lot of things. So sausage production, you are into what again?
I do crop farming. I have onion. You know the Niger,
yes.
The Niger tenku.
Yes.
It's shot up, you know, onion
price. Yes.
Yeah, and I made some good money.
Wow.
You make plenty good money, so you move. You have some
onion. You farm. You do
everything we put in the soil. I do it.
Wow.
You know, it's seasonal. So this one comes, you do it. This one goes down.
I to cash you or something, no?
No, not into cash.
to
But
catch
you know, the fast me, I like the fast moving consumables. So if anything happens, you will recover. You know, and so on, and then catfish.
Oh, you do catfish?
Yeah, you do catfish and smoke and export.
So that is up the mountain.
The land is there.
Okay.
The land is there.
Smoked catfish and you export.
I export, yes.
You're in good business.
No, you have to do it.
Wow.
You know,
what has been your lowest moment in business?
You lose plenty times. You know, you lose plenty times. You know, you lose plenty times. There are a lot of times where you lose the money and you feel like you never want to. So the lowest was when I lost about 120 pigs.
120
pigs.
You know,
you have to slaughter all of them. You know the pigs. Once you have one, you know you have to, and then the veterinary officer says, no, this thing you have to end it. You slaughter all of them and bury them.
You bury them?
Yes, and I'll never forget it.
120 pigs.
Yes,
lots of money.
Slaughter all of them and bury them. You know, so that was hard. It was difficult at the time. I remember correctly, the live pigs were selling for almost about 950.
Wow.
So that was about, you know, close to about 95,000. Today
you lost about 95,000.
Yeah. Wow. Just one day, and these things keep happening and they keep coming up because it's all part of the business, you know.
That's 114,000 you lost.
Yeah, So you have to deal with it.
Kill them and bury them.
Yes, you have to bury them, and it comes because it's.
How did that shape you as a businessman? Like you said, yes, the challenges will come, but how do you overcome? You are youthful. You are there, very entrepreneurial. To entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs listening to you, what is that advice?
I believe that things will always level up. I mean, that is my view. Bola, that's always what I've believed in, that things will always level up. So, honestly, I don't care when I'm going down. That is why I don't fall for threats. It means nothing to me because you don't control anything. You know, I've seen somebody standing and say, if I get you that, and then he was knocked down by a car and the guy was standing. You know, these things happen. So when you are going down, that means nothing. Think about what next, what to do. I've seen very low ends everywhere in politics, in business. I've seen it all.
And that's what I was coming to. Your lowest moment in politics will be what?
I mean, when I was climbing my office as MC in the Capital North with my megaphone, I'd gone to, you know, campaign that people should come and register in 2020. It was in August. 2 days to, I think that was the last day for registration in August 2020. I'd come back tired. I'd sorted out my lawyer ladies who were with me. They are having their dinner. I said, let me go to the office and do some work. I get to the office, I receive a message that you've been fired by the president. You know, so you can imagine. Yes, in August 2020. Yes, in August 2020.
Wow. And here you are.
Yes.
Leading communications.
The president gave me another appointment. Yeah, the same president.
How did you take that?
You know, because the next day I started campaigning. That's all. That's what I keep talking about. So the next day I started campaigning. The next day I woke up. If I had scheduled a meeting with the chiefs in the Equipment Traditional Council, so I was asking, should I go? Shouldn't I go? Because I was going there as MC. Now they fire you. So in what capacity? I said, okay, let me go and announce to them that this will be my last day.
You did?
Oh, it's on YouTube. So I went. I told them, you know, this is the last day. People had come to my house, plenty people. You know how politics is. Even those who don't like you can pretend as if they are with you. You know. Then I went to announce. Then the next day I started campaigning. In fact, that was when I started communication. I was not doing communication for the party when I was MC. So I started communicating, and that is it.
Will you count that as a blessing?
Yes, I think so. I mean, if there is anything I want to tell Akufo-Addo, I thank him for sacking me. Because I mean, I'll still be there. I'll still be in that small space. I thank you.
Blessing in disguise.
I thank you for sacking me. Because if you had not done that, where would I be? You understand? I'm sure even if Bawumia wanted me to be his communicator, I said, oh, the guy is MC. He's busy. You know, so I thank him for that. And it was God whispering to him, fire the guy. You know, it was God. And then God and that was after a year and a half, because I was fired in August 2020, and then I was called in February 2022. So that was like almost 2 years.
Yes.
You know, and I didn't go to the president. I never went to him. I didn't go to him to say anything. And it's not like I went to lobby. He called me himself and said, come. You know, so it was God and him. You know, God has to work through people.
Indeed, your name normally will go before you, and it did.
Yes.
Miracles.
Yes. So he called me. I went. Oh,
you didn't lobby for it?
No. I was working. My lobby was my work. So I work to the point that you will see me.
Wow.
You understand?
It's not time for our question. What a story. The man who was fired in August 2020 by the president was called.
So I got so the president called me in February 2022 for an appointment.
Okay.
And then he called me again in August 2022 for another appointment. Me, I have plenty of appointments right now.
The first one, February 2020, was what?
Was presidential staffer. Then August 2022, like when I was celebrating my second year anniversary, he added another one. The executive secretary for the interministerial coordinating committee on decentralization. I got plenty positions.
Plenty. You be hard man.
That'd be why if you go down, you don't have to cry.
You don't have to.
No. You see,
ever contemplated or thought of becoming president or party chairman one day?
No. I don't want to. I mean, I don't like elective positions.
Oh, you don't?
No. I like to support people.
Okay.
So I will support you. You get that. They give you something to do. That's why I don't want to be MP. I don't want to be MP. You know, I don't want to be MP. No, I don't want to. No. Because see, when I'm the candidate, the things I go to do. When I'm candidate, I can't do.
Do you face opposition within your own party?
Oh yeah. I mean, your biggest opposition is within.
How do you
politics?
How do you rise above that?
No, keep your eye on that. Just do what you are going to do. You face it. You face it. You internally, that's where your biggest opposition is. But it doesn't mean anything. You know, the real joy is what we are doing today, where I can confidently come and sit on radio and say I was fired. You know, when you are successful, you're able to tout your failures.
Yes.
You understand? Correct. So I'm able to sit here and say I was fired. So the real people who are suffering will be the internal saboteurs. They are the ones who are watching you this evening and they are suffering. So don't complain. Don't try to fight back. The fight back is this. Your heart. You are getting broken heart. You are wondering, this guy, when is he going down? But he's never going to go down. But we are not going down because you know where we are coming from is far. We are very close, but we are very far. If I take you to where I've come from, you realize that Lata is just 45 minutes away.
Yes.
Now, where I come from is very, very far. And I'm not ready to pay attention to you to, distract me. We are going to make Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia president. And we'll make him president again in 2028. Why? Because I believe that the future of this country needs to be protected, at least for the long term. And I believe clearly that without any doubt, if you run a comparative analysis between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Dr. Bawumia is miles ahead of him. No disrespect to John Mahama, no disrespect at all. But sometimes you meet competition and there's nothing you can do about it. It's like Messi and Ronaldo.
What is your biggest fear in life?
Death. I don't want to die.
You don't want to?
No, life is, I don't want to die, Bola. I don't want to die.
You don't?
No. Why should you die?
It's not time for our mystery question. Miracles, here you go. Can you pick one? And here we go. As drum rolls. Okay.
Tell me, look at you down.
Oh, no, you will feature down. I beg you. So read it out for us.
I beg you.
Yes, no, you don't go back. I beg. Just answer for us. That's the man, top man. Answer this question for us and read it out, please.
Greatest president MPP has ever produced.
Yes, sir.
Will be who?
Will be who? Yes.
Explain
Miracles.
your choice.
Yes, boss.
I think that between another Danko Akufo-Addo and former President former President Kufuor, it is a very difficult choice for me. And I won't lie. Because these are leaders who came at different times, different generations and different moments. If you look at what Nana Danko Akufo-Addo has done in the face of all the challenges and difficulties that we have, if you really take emotions out and take politics out and analyze the situation and what he's been able to achieve in impacting the lives of the Ghanaian person and ensuring that we build a long-term sustainability of this country, you'll be amazed. He's a fantastic president. If you look at where President Kufuor took Ghana, where we were in the year 2000, and where Kufuor moved us towards by the time we got to 2008, he's a fantastic president. I think in this country, if we are going to look for the best presidents we've had, it will be former President Kufuor and another Danko Akufo-Addo.